Hey guys, some gamer dude here. So Aiji Shishido from the CEO of Force of Will, I should say, is doing posts on the Force of Will website. My computer is not strong enough to do capture of the actual websites anymore. I need to replace it. You might be able to see the screen is a bit dodgy too. But I wanted to read through these posts mostly because I am not a big fan of this company, and it shows that while they understand change is needed, I don't think they get it. I don't think they get what's wrong with their game. I don't think they understand why, despite, like Vanguard, having a fantastic start due to someone else's colossal stuff up, unlike Vanguard, they dropped the ball almost immediately, and by Grim 4 were kind of a joke. The game did start selling remarkably well, but quickly fell down and is just kind of not really there anymore. The place that it had carved out for itself is now being taken up by Dragon Ball Super, a flash-in-the-pan game that I guarantee will end in the 5 sets that are projected to exist for it. So, let's begin. Aiji Shishido, Force of Will CEO here once again. Sorry, I read that in the wrong order. We are now officially back in the swing of things, swing of work here at Force of Will, Force of Wind, sorry. Force of Will HQ. That's not funny. Haha, we have a whole lot of exciting topics planned for 2018, and I'll be visiting certain tournaments and countries all over the world. We should also respond to a lot of your comments and make sure we are doing a good job. Yeah, there's actually a part near the end that this is not the case. I'm really tempted to skip down there immediately, but let's just get there. To start off this year on the right foot, I would like the first official post to talk about something close to my heart. He's talking about the company's ideals and whatnot. You can say that. No, you cannot. Sorry about the guerrilla photography. Today, I'd like to introduce you to something very important to our game. As I briefly mentioned in my Christmas message, Force of Will Co. have never really taken the time to explicitly state our founding beliefs and where we stand. I honestly don't think it really mattered. Only that you were producing a good game and the story was satisfying for those who were invested in it. Your actual standing beliefs, I don't think really matter all that much. This year, we have vowed to make some serious changes, and in that light, we have updated our founding beliefs to mirror our new direction. Well, I hope it improves the game, because it's been kind of a shit show since Grim 3. I might argue Valhalla 1. And people are starting to understand this. This is why the game dropped really hard during the Lapis cluster, because they realized you don't really have much idea of what you're doing. Over the next 3 months, I will take some time each month to explain a little bit about what we as a company believe in, why we think those traits are valuable, and also discuss some of our inner workings. A strong game must be built upon a strong foundation. No, it's actually right place, right time. You are very wrong there. Every game that has become massively popular did so because it's part of a mass marketing scheme for a larger media enterprise, be it Pokemon, Dragon Ball, Naruto, what have you, or was it the right place at the right time, like Magic, Vanguard, which, yeah, is also part of a mass marketing thing, but you get my point. And oddly enough, your game. And you squandered that. It's going to take a lot to get back the goodwill. It is important to remember that we are only as strong as our foundations. Again, I just covered that. It's actually a quality game and being there, right there at the right time. So I, alongside our new global liaison, because the biggest place to sell the cards, America, doesn't deserve its own community manager. Regardless of what you thought of Jordan Blanco, I think his name was Jordan de Blanco, I forget how you pronounce his name. Or has a D in there or not. Anyway, regardless of what you think of him, he's kind of a smarmy guy, to be honest. He's very punchable. But America, and by extension, the English-speaking world, did need this community manager type position. We don't have that anymore. We don't have someone to directly give our grievances to. I don't think this global liaison's going to be much help when they're handling the entire planet. It's much more than a single region. Yet all of Europe have their own, and I believe Asia do too. Each region in Asia and Europe have their own. So where was I? And core members of company have... Oh, that's bad English. He's not a natural English speaker, so it's okay. Have been discussing these beliefs for quite some time in order to present you an exhaustive list of 10 defining features that mold the way we play, design, and organize all aspects of our game. Well, the designers, I'd fire them immediately. Raise the game to the ground. Rebuild. I'm not kidding you. We'll get on that one. Today, being an introductory article, should focus on the first three of 10 founding beliefs, as well as some discussion for the first team's role in the game. Forceville Co. That's some really hard English to read there, guys. Forceville Co. grow together with friends from across the world. Quite a bold claim, but our idea is simple. We're all born in different countries, raised in different families, and speak different languages. But I still think we can become a single community together. Many players from all over the world play Force of Will. It is because of that shared experience that we are able to meet friends in different countries, to travel all around the world in order to play at different Grand Prix events, and then in the World Grand Prix. The WGP is a celebration of those champions from all over the world. Our Forceville way, amongst all else, is that we as a community grow together. Players from across the globe are playing our game and enjoying that experience while embracing each other, regardless of our differences, and are always striving to improve ourselves and our community in the best way possible. Well, I don't think there's much to really comment on there. That's perfectly fine. There's nothing you can really complain about. Forceville Co. encourage you to journey the world. We want players to be able to share and communicate with other Forceville players from across the world. Forums do that. The players got you, mate. To create friendships and bonds that people can cherish far into the future. We can facilitate those experiences by having our many Grand Prix tournaments all over the world, and having different events that players can travel to all over the world. Players can become global citizens with friends in many countries and understand their friends' cultures and histories, and maybe they can even visit them. Well, the whole point of you just turn this from, we want you to go everywhere, and then you just blatantly started to understand that that's really expensive, and not everyone can do that. So, what is the point here? The only way this is going to happen is digital play or through webcams, whatnot, and it's only really facilitated by the fans who have built fan groups and Reddit and forums and Discord and whatnot. I don't get your point here. The fans do this by themselves and always have. Well, not always, but as soon as the internet was invented and the forum, the old Usenet and the boards there, people did this by themselves. They don't need you to have this as part of your core beliefs. And then again, in that last sentence, you start to realize, hey, what we're suggesting is really expensive, and not everyone's going to be able to do it, especially for a freaking card game. Most people are just going to travel to their local Grand Prix, maybe Grand Prix in their country, and leave it at that unless they get up to make it worth going to Worlds. I don't get what you're going at here, mate. I think what you're suggesting is dumb, and then you realise it is dumb. Force of Will Co. show you the world from your game table. While we want our game to grow on an international level, good, others have made the mistake of keeping it in one country and it has killed it. Kaijudo is a very good example of this. We also want that the foundations of any game... we also understand that the foundations of any game are at the local game shops. Good. Good on you. This one's worthwhile. This one's very smart of them. If they follow through with this, this is something very, very important that I think a lot of games, especially Magic the Gathering, are forgetting at the moment. We don't want you to think we only care about the international aspect of our game. We want Force of Will players to be able to experience our world from their local game store as well. Let's leave our PC and visit your local game store. Join your local community and our events. Yeah, well, that needs the game to be good. We'll get onto this. Bold move they couldn't. You're suggesting all the good things without having that solid foundation, which is the game itself and marketing. Wonderful friends and tables will be there. The ones we talk about with our favourite games that... Oh, they're talking about the friends. That we make our newest deck with... No, you generally don't, not in post-internet boom era. You either make something fun yourself or you go copy the closest net deck or any fun deck you find online. This whole build your own deck is... very few people do that. And test before our tournaments with. Yeah, the other thing is, your game is so limited in the meta of what's playable. There's no reason to venture out of the few decks that are playable at one given time. Not much else is viable, and this seems to be because of bad design, to be honest. Local communities are our minimum entity, and we are composed by gathering those communities. You can see the world through your local table. We hope that in the coming year we can increase the number of shops that believe in our idea of a supported LGS, and that we can have more official stores all over the world who want to host our events and share our wonderful game. Well, you kind of screwed the pooch three ways here, mate. I'm going to be really frank. You started off with a game that was reasonable. The Grim Cluster is largely reasonable. Then you produced a set that basically soured LGS on the game. It doesn't matter that you support it with prizes and whatnot. You made it too cheap. Then you made it so this was just the standard going on. The Alice Cluster, by and large, burned a lot of LGSs against your game. Then in the Raya Cluster and Raya Cluster, you burned players off your game because you took it from a game that's reasonably cheap, well, very cheap to be honest, because the singles market in it was just not existent because of how cheap it was, which meant if you found singles, there was no point in buying product, which means stores were saddled with tons of product, to something that honestly I wouldn't even bother with given the quality of the game itself. It's not a wonderful game. Keep lampooning this one. The game needs really serious work. We'll get to it. In addition, we hope that players will learn from our game as well. Yes, they learn to see a garbage fire when they see one. Sorry, it's the truth. That's why your numbers are down. We purposely include many countries, cultures, and histories into our game that players can become interested in them. You talk about the fairy tale thing, right? it's become tedious and boring. Just going to be honest, the Alice cluster being unique and interesting for the most part, bar Alice from Alice in Wonderland, and the steadily bring back of the influx of fairy tales. The original part of the Alice cluster where it was unique, interesting, and by itself, that was vastly more interesting than what you've done after. The whole fairy tale thing. It got really boring really quick because it feels like, if you know the Valhalla stuff, it feels like the game's hemorrhaging on it. And it's a cancer. Just holding it down. It's dying from it. And it just can't do anything else. We hope that learning more about the world around us invites players to understand each other more and have chances to experience those different cultures. Okay, again, you keep repeating the same ones over and over again. You don't even really do that many new ones. If you did new ones all the time, it wouldn't feel like the fairy tale thing is a cancer, and it wouldn't make the Alice cluster look so good by comparison. Because the Alice cluster is not good. The whole, what are they? The regalia. It's been a while since they were legal. The regalia thing is inherently bad and made the entire cluster problematic. But maybe you don't say that. I do.